how to navigate life through aggressive form of marketing, especially when we're facing spiritual information warfare. Let's see what happens when we can differentiate and figure out the contrast between these scenarios. It becomes so much easier for us to navigate life. This is how I do it anyway. I compare aggressive form of marketing as a fishing expedition. It's like when you go fishing, um, you heard these terms very early on in your life. People go fishing and let's go fishing. Um, this is something we do for entertainment purposes, for a purpose of consuming the fish. Either way, is very easy terms that everyone have access to. Aggressive marketing is something very similar. We are relying on these aggressive forms of marketing. People go to school to master these techniques, how to go fishing, how to consume, how to maintain the attractiveness and curiosity, and really uh, double down on aggressive marketing. So therefore we have unlimited numbers repetitively consuming these equipments, things that we think it's going to enhance our life. So it's one of these a really simple fact, but if we really sit back and take a moment to really have a perspective regarding these issues, we have a really meaningful life, add value to our life with external tools that brings us comfort. But like everything else, we need to have a level of clarity when we are consuming these kind of propaganda, because like a fish, we can get consumed. We just never know how it happens, why it happens, how do we fix this. Sometimes it's a bit too long, and we have been fished out. We have been consumed already, so it might be very challenging to get back to somewhat normal existence. Um, let's see how well we can unpack these matters, and let's see the layers of these hostile propaganda and aggressive propaganda towards the human beings, and using our everyday common sense observation, practical, logical observation. Now, the food is something that is vital for us, and when we observe our natural ecosystem, something that is really clear to us, everyone have a really set diet. Little the lion cubs and the little birds and the bison, all of these, the goats, they chickens, they always have a very similar diet. They are not changing because we are bored with what we are consuming, unless we are the humans are tampering with these ecosystems. It is very similar throughout their life, and they are very selective. They are very they like to choose the optimum high quality fuel system. So we speak about this repetitively, but when it comes to humans, do we even have appropriate diet? Did we get that down from our parents, our ancestors? How do we really supposed to fuel our mind, body, spirit vessel? Because it's not 500 different items that's in a box, because the obvious sign is the nutritional deficit, and the optimum health is not even an option these days. Yet we have given these extraordinary amount of items. The marketing is right up there. We are constantly bombarded with these aggressive marketing. This is what you should be eating. This is the kind of medicine you should take. But the right after, there are the side effects. Use it with the caution is labeled. So, but the unsuspecting humanity become really confused because we aren't connected. We are unsure. We don't really know how we're going to master this fuel system, how to fuel our vessel. So this is how we navigate contrast. There could be empty calories. They have gone through layers of, we're just going to put chemical cocktail into your daily dose of food. So nobody question, because if you aren't consuming, it's not appealing to us. There's no need for this mass production and even manipulate our open economy based this unknown food cocktails. When we have this information, we have awareness regarding this. There's on the parallel background, we often hear these are all examples, these are all different topics, different ways of navigating really confusing times, especially now as heightened energies and information coming out with a lot of confusion. So therefore we need to go back to basics and learn these navigation tips. We often hear about the pets. You know, we all have the dogs. We have some of us had these normal woof woof, and other neighbors, friends have very fancy, very cuddly, very beautiful little creatures they are carrying around. They are mixed breed. They are some kind of a hybrid fancy dog. So we have information regarding these matters. Same thing with the people who are familiar with the gardening. They have created somewhat hybrid type of the plants, the flowers. And so we know these kind of things exist in our ecosystem. So they are maybe these kind of tradition, these kind of technology was already existed long before we came here. But the other factor that I really want to address is when we aren't clear about our diet, what we need to consume, but we have inherent knowledge. We aren't really, the everyday humans aren't really having another human BBQ for the family get together. That is unheard of in a human the ecosystem, the households, the neighborhoods, and the communities. This is not something common, but it's not something appropriate. It's not something legal even. So therefore, on the surface, right? So we have a very clear knowing that this is not something we consume. But lately we often hear there are a group of people, they are consuming human BBQ, and on top of that they are their choice of drugs is some kind of a chrome, and we hear about these things, and it's confusing, it's daunting, it's shocking, because we aren't really we don't really have a very much clarity regarding these darkness and what is really happening around us. It's not even topics that we can have a normal dialogue with anyone, because you'll be labeled as a crazy lunatic. Despite all of that, we hear these on the media, the not the traditional media, but on these alternative kind of information, the conspiracy theory based valuable informations. But if you're in a position of awareness, awakened, and you're constantly, continuously seeking information regarding our existence here, uh, if you have a little bit of compassion, empathy, neutral position, and able to uh, create judgment regarding information, it is really natural thing for us to dig in a little deep, go down the rabbit hole. Um, while we're doing that, what we see that people are extremely traumatized by this information is difficult to comprehend. Some of these awakened people lash out. They express their opinions how horrendous everything is, and become really emotionally heightened, which is pretty normal. Uh, Pretty normal observation. Is to be expected. But one thing we really have to keep in mind, if we're dealing with the neutral position, a loving, compassionate position, never mind about unconditional love or enlightened state. If we're going into these kind of frequencies, territories, it is quite normal for us to sort of have a clarity and awareness into darkness, the depth of darkness, the pain body, the suffering that we all we have it in our social human social ecosystem. It is really important for us to keep these factors in mind and have observation and awareness. And the more we awakened, more we have a compassion, more we have empathy, more loving and unconditional loving we become. We need to recognize the depth of darkness amongst us. They could be, because they are out there, they are not within us, they're out there. It's really important for us to recognize and have a clarity regarding this depth of darkness. Now, if we speak about these matters in our everyday life, the from the point of view from a black sheep, like we all have a very um, normal human complicated human relationships with your parents, with your family, your extended family, the guardians. All of these things are there. They are not really equipped to have the mirror observation, come to terms with that, and recognize all the things that they can do to protect and nurture the younger generation, because we are recognizing our level of toxicity. This is what healing is all about. But for the majority of time, we are really equipped to handle these black sheeps. We don't want to be confronted with these. So much easier we just shun them out and disconnect and or never make that time and space for nurturing of these souls by recognizing their light. This is not the normal way people are doing. It's really uncomfortable. We don't want to look at these darkness within us, and they are all very individualistic, and almost every other family go through these level of extreme level of toxicity. One or two or a few people from a family get ejected from the unit because of this level of toxicity. So if you want to have another layer of this level of extreme hostility, toxicity from the external world, this is what all the hidden agendas all about. In regular families, the black sheeps always get ejected and eliminated and shunned and disrespected and never acknowledge their part of toxic contribution, but these black sheeps get fall through the cracks, or this is maybe normal way of bringing things to surface, because there's no way other way around. The ancestral trauma body, the inner child trauma, these lineage needs to be looked at and resolve and eliminate to move forward. Now the elite circle, I know in the immediate thoughts and judgment is like, wow, this is disgusting, these people, but this is the people with a much more resources in their disposal, but they go to the any length to hide their trauma body. The depth of darkness is really difficult for the human beings to comprehend. But what we have to keep in mind is there are hybrid, is a possibility of some kind of a hybrid group unknown to us, indifferent to us. They have to be that extreme level of darkness and roots in order for us to maintain on the surface lively, very lively human beings capable of healing, releasing, and channel into that unconditional love and enlightened state. Is an extreme possibility. Now, we also notice these spiritual gurus get entangled with the darkness, because these aren't, sometimes we all listen to these people at some point while we're seeking, but someone who genuinely doing the work will know that it is a stepping stone. This is not the end. We can't stay there indefinitely. We need to move forward and start seeking information that is satisfactory for our soul's journey. So these people also get entangled because they somehow get entrapped and get influenced, and they got into a business model. They got into the luxurious life, and so they got distracted, and they also have to do some real work. And there is a possibility to become really enlightened individuals, but they also got, because of the master manipulation, the extreme aggressive marketing, they also become the agents that eventually getting called out, because the humiliation ritual from their side, from the humans perspective, it's really come to surface now. They have to go through these journeys because maybe somewhere down the line they forgot, hey, I am a spiritual guru, I have done some real work, but I got distracted, and I was like a fish, I got consumed, and because I haven't I recognized the greed. I didn't know I was comfortable with a luxurious, easy, floating state of being. Instead, I stopped there instead of continue to go on the journey. But it's everyone's personal journey. But how we look at it is, if you see the contrast between these elite agents that they gather together in the places, they be discussing, hey, we really need to control these population, we really need to scare them, we really need to make them stationary or have a very little movement. So they are going to be into these kind of a credit system or 15-minute cities, or that really scare them, and I try to put micromanaging and extreme surveillance. This is the kind of thing these agents have discussions about, because they want to maintain their level of darkness and the scarcity and extreme horror show. But this is the foundation for human beings beginning. This is, they are external, but they are also part of us. And whether it's a hybrid, whether it's some kind of a confused a state of being, or a mismatch, because it's not a clearly it's not a divinely created with love and extreme level of power and authority, like the divine source that is unknown to us. We're working towards that, but this is what we need to recognize. In order for us to exist, the level of darkness exists before us. We think this is what we really need, because we are manipulated by extreme marketing. So we are chasing these external world when it's so much easier, because we are very well equipped to go internal and figure out all these layers of human existence. But when you compare, when you see these people, and we see occasionally, we see the pictures there with a young lady, very young ladies, and they are sitting around with a bathrobe and some kind of a alcohol drink. In reality, if this was a regular place, and these young ladies will never ever pick them as a partners, or entertain any kind of a relationship, they be like, hey grandpa, hey or something rather very they be overlooked. Yet when you see these agents, these entities, you don't see the authority, the power, and the love and compassion and the comfort. It's a really desperate, pathetic level of existence. You can see them. Somebody can say, wow, they're the most powerful people. They try to glorify, because aggressive marketing is still thing, because we're still trying to navigate. We're still trying to come to terms with these confusing factors. But in reality, these agents, their frequencies are never matching the level of resources they have. They are really pathetic little individuals who are really scared, who really are disconnected, who really are confused, who really are hybrid, some kind of a hybrid mismatch, disconnected, lonely agents. Maybe there is the soul, a woke soul, maybe not awakened soul. Even that, it seems very mechanical, very foreign, is not something that you want to invite over to your home for a friendly meal or a family gathering. Toxicity is that obvious even within the pictures. So instead of uh, instead of really getting angry, what we can do is, sure, anger is also something that's need to have awareness about. Like the other day, I was speaking to one of my little friends. The empathy, they are such empathic souls. They don't really know how to cope with life. I was like that a while ago. You can't speak about your experiences, you're crying and you're bawling your eyes because you are so emotionally affected by things. And it even like the hospice palliative care, they aren't related to you. These are our work circumstances, but it's really disheartening to go through these things in our mix, because we are empathic souls and we really feel things so deeply. The other factor is when you lost your pet, it's like you have hard time breathing. Even like at night, you feel the heaviness in your heart, you're tightening, you can't breathe because you are so struck with the grief and sadness. We need to create boundaries there. We need to have perspectives. As long as we continue to observe and release, and we become much stronger, we are able to cope. So this is the most the empathic emotions. Same thing, we have greed. Greed is need to have a perspective. We have so much more than um, options and our basic needs, and a lot more comfort. But because of our greed, our need for wanting things, we gain, once again we become consumed by the aggressive marketing, because we don't really know. We are so prone to have these sort of addictive personalities. We don't know how to create boundaries and protect your resources, and instead we become consumers. This is how we navigate this information spiritual warfare within this aggressive marketing, normal circumstances, and the setup in our social structure. Um, so it's how we the anger is also something really important. When we don't know how to manage your anger, is so easily you behave in a manner it's affect other human beings, and that is not the purpose. Anger is there is also a need to be resolved. If everyone walking around and using the anger to as a driving force, again, once again we become consumed and lose. This is how people get into these situations, because we don't have awareness about our anger. Instead we become consumed and you lose your time and become done something so silly, stupid, because we weren't capable of managing our anger. We let the emotional circumstances be the driving force. Same thing with the lust. So if people get lost in these external aggressive marketing, we really don't know the purpose of these sexual lust. Base is also we're craving into and giving into these external circumstances, the natural ecosystem. All of these things are a driving force for the next generation. Is a purpose there. Instead, we don't really recognize the purpose. We don't know how to go about it. We don't know how to create meaningful relationships. We don't know how to put that foundation and nurture the next generation, because we get consumed by the lust. So because once again it's aggressive marketing, and the young generation is prone to explore a whole lot of deep, dark, unhealthy, lust-based uh, emotional layer. So then once again people get into trouble because of these things. So this is why we really need to navigate life, recognizing these horrendous level of darkness, but they are also part of us, and humans are above the ground for the most part. If you're unconsciously doing things and become suspectable to the aggressive marketing, we become a victim and we become a dead fish, or something very challenging circumstances that we create for us. Nevertheless, it's really important for us to navigate life with these aggressive marketings and marketing open space of information and information and temptation and emotional baggage. So when we have a much broader perspective and awareness, and really go internal and figure out what we are, what is our basic needs, what is our comfort, and what is our emotional investment, financial is investment, our time investment, so we can navigate much easier. And this is sort of how I observe and look at life and navigate. I hope we all take the time to have a much more depth and recognize the depth of darkness, because now we are going into a frequency of love, and hopefully unconditional love and enlightenment state. So this is what heaven or the comfort of being is all about, because we all recognize the depth of darkness. We release them, and releasing our trauma body, ancestral trauma body, recognizing our own level of toxicity will be the purpose of that extreme level of darkness. And thank you very much.